Welcome everyone. This is our research seminar series with Dr. Aida Urrea Monclús. She is from the Autonomous University of Barcelona, and today she will be talking to us about assessing children's rights knowledge and how it can be done, but more importantly, why it's important to assess knowledge when it comes to the topic of children's rights. So Aida, welcome. I will leave you to present. Aida will be presenting for a couple of minutes first, and then we will have a conversation, because this is the format of the series, having conversations with researchers around voice, agency, and rights in education. So Aida, welcome.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me to do this session, and I hope you like it and we can learn together about children's rights and how assess it. I share my screen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to explain the background of our research. I am from the Autonomous University of Barcelona, but I was working, and our team is now related and joined with University of Lleida, and also with UNICEF, that it's the organization that funded our research, and we start doing this research in 2010, and we pretend to know what were or which were the needs of teachers and of children and all the community, educational community, to related to children rights and development education. And in that sense, UNICEF wants to promote the development education in formal education in schools, and in that case we developed some researches about this topic. The first one is to identify these key aspects for incorporate the child rights in the school life. The second one was when we found the need, we develop some resources to more specific to integrate the Convention on the Rights of the Child in this educational system, and then we develop a research about the children rights in universities, because more specifically in faculties, in the faculties of education, because we think that it's important to incorporate the children rights in schools. It's important that teachers, or the initial training of teachers, could incorporate this aspect. And for that, we developed a research analyzing the syllabus of the degrees of education in the whole universities of Spain, and this brings us some data about how we can implement this in the universities. All these also, I can share this presentation with Gabriela, and you can have this. And in that moment, I don't explain all that there is in this presentation. But why we think about child rights education, it's a good topic, or it's a topic that we need to incorporate in the schools, because there are benefits in not only with children and adolescents, if not also with teachers, with educators, with the whole school, and the community also. And there are different researchers and different experience also in UK, in Canada, that arise some of these benefits from these three agents. And how we did these researches, we think that it's the most important thing is not only related about we do the research with teachers or with parents. We need a research, an integral research, and complement, where there will be different informants, different interviewers. And for that, we ask teachers and educational staff. Also, it's important to ask, for example, the people who works in after schools, in the after schools activities, and also, why not the person that is in the reception of the school, and they also have things to explain or about this school. And we ask students, and this is a very important part, and another to parents. And how we did this research with methodological complementarity, not only based on qualitative or quantitative. If not, we intend to join the two methodologies, and, for example, we passed questionnaires to children and adolescents, but also we did focus group with these people, and we collect good practice as also. And all of these, we find some different aspects related to three elements that are important in education, in the educational fields, that are that we can't only focus in knowledge. We need to focus in the knowledge, in the experience, and also in the feelings of about the Convention on the Rights of the Child. And for that, and with this framework, we develop some methodological and scientific funded resources, and also training processes. We think that, we thought that where are important these two things: resources for students, for teachers, for parents, but also the training processes about how use these resources, for example. In that case, here in the presentation, we can find some of these materials or resources that we developed, and also there are the website. I'm apologize that these are in Spanish, but maybe if it's so interesting, maybe we can translate it further. These are these different resources. Also, with the training processes, we develop resources for universities, and also for the continuous training or permanent training. I don't know if what's the name in the Irish context, but when teachers are working yet. And also training for students. But what we talk about today is about the assessment tool for the knowledge of children's rights, and why this is important, because we developed all these resources, but we also notice, and UNICEF noticed, that they need to assess how is the knowledge of children in the schools, to specify the interventions, the educational interventions, concretize these interventions with their student. And for that, it's important to design an assessment tool. And this is the research that is still in process. And we, first of all, we developed this assessment tool, and now we are validating this tool, and also adapting it to English. In that case, we will do. And but what is important in that case, that this design of the assessment tool is based on situational judgment test. We thought that, as you saw in the slides before, when I explained knowledge, experience, and feels, we think that we need a tool that assess different things, not only the knowledge of children. And for that, we developed a situational judgment test. This is a type of test that it's based on scenarios, and children or adolescents, they have to choose the best option, or the option that they would do in that case. With also, these scenarios are related with the daily life, or we intend to develop scenarios that are related with daily life of children, to become more close to them. And this is I think this is important to know or to be close to these children, and they can answer better, and they can answer more trustfully or through, yeah. And yeah, how are the steps of the situational judgment test? Is these scenarios that I talked are based on categories and scales that are related with the Convention on the Rights of the Child and are selected for experts, for a group of experts. But the most important thing is that these experts are not only adults. If not, these experts are also children. This is one thing that we wanted to introduce here, because it's important these scenarios to be close, to be daily life for them. We need to ask them if these scales, these scenarios, this battery of answers are true or are related with them. More or less, I explain more or less what's these different steps. We can talk with that and concretize more about these things. In that case, we are now validating this data, and we are asking children, asking adults, experts about that, and also all this data we can use to develop more strategies, more resources to these children, to teachers for the intervention with the students.
Thank you very much, Aida. And now we're going to have a conversation about the things that we want to focus this seminar. We will not be talking about the results of the tests or the validation, which as important as it is for the research, what we want to do now it's to discuss more the importance of assessment itself, why the type of assessment we choose for children's rights matters, and perhaps argue a little bit about the importance of this idea that Aida is proposing, and that I've been very lucky to work with her in the situational test. So the advantages and possibilities that the situational judgment tests bring to children's rights and children's rights education. So my first question would be to you, Aida, why is different assessing children's rights through these types of tests, like situations, as you mentioned, everyday circumstances, why it's different to other ways of assessing?
The first thing is because the first thing is a test that do children and answer the children. Sometimes in the past is related about an self-inform that what or the person that the person who does this inform or this answer is the teacher. The teacher says if this student have this knowledge or not. This is one thing. The other thing is also if is the student who answer these questions sometimes is related about the social knowledge or the social what the society wants you to answer. And children, if you ask, you know your rights, children says yes, no, but it's only the knowledge of a concept, not we can't know if they use it these rights. We can't know if their attitudes are according to these rights. And also sometimes is okay, I know that I need to answer this, and I check, yes, I agree with that, but maybe then they don't do according with their answer. And with a situational judgment test, it's easiest to find these questions or to deal with this situation, because it's a situation that they know, and they probably feel, not feel, live or live, they have been live live
Living?
yeah, exactly, in and it's easiest to assess in that case. The situational judgment test, it's a type of test that appears in the work, in the work field, and it's for select people in a job. And this is useful, we think, and we try to use this in the educational field, because we use the situations that they deal with. See, bullying cases, or another, or participation situation that maybe they can't participate and they won't.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it's great. I was trying to think because it's quite clear that these types of tests, in comparison to other more standardized exams of
Mhm.
what is the right in number Article 6, or like just focus on the knowledge, as you were saying, but not necessarily on how skillful children are to actually exercise their rights, or their attitudes towards certain rights and others. I think it's the situational test actually gives children uh, a way to express their voice in a more meaningful way. But I was wondering if you think there are advantages for other stakeholders, for instance, for teachers or for schools, to assess children's rights in this way rather than through another type
Mhm.
of test or through any
Mhm.
other approach.
I think, of course, yes. In the sense that if the same test, we can use this test to do the intervention after we did the test. For example, these stories makes children, or puts children in some situation, and they can imagine what's this situation, but can they should try to solve this situation. And for example, depends of the answer, we know how is their what is their knowledge, but we can develop activities, or we can continue working with this situation to make sense to the answer, the right answer. For example, in the case of lack of participation, if they think that they can't participate, we can continue working with this situation and try to explain them and try to to explain and to work with this to have a better knowledge. And also, if it's a situation that probably they don't they know but they don't suffer, I don't know it's the word, no, for example, cases of protection, they could be or they could propose solutions for this situation and could become a citizenship, an active citizenship, not only for their life, if not more than the local way.
Now, perhaps, and I cannot think of anyone who knew a best answer for this, but what is the most challenging aspect of developing a situational test and then implementing the situational test? And I ask this because I know Aida has been working for the last years, not only in designing the test, implementing the test, but also looking at how it can translate into other contexts. So we've been working together to work to do this cross-cultural translation of the test for the Irish context and things like that. So I wanted to ask if you can think of the most challenging aspects of, because it has loads of advantages and there are clear advantages, but there are perhaps important challenges to have in mind.
Yeah, I think there are a lot. There are a lot in this in the sense that the first thing is change the perspective of the adults perspective of children and of children rights. We as adults, we don't have to bring them their rights. They have these rights as they born, and we have to teach them to know how use their rights, but not they are waiting how we do or we bring them. And this, I think this is the first, and because when we are designing this test, the first thing is, okay, we have to change. Also, I think we are in that way during a lot of time. Sometimes we need to stop and think, hey, wait, we have to think with children, and children have to help us, or they have to do this, and we help them to do. And this is, I think, the first thing, the first challenge. It's we need to change our perspective. The second, this means that, for example, in our case, it was difficult to include children to this, to develop these scenarios, because some adults think, oh, they can't. No, no, of course they can, and and we need they do this. And the second challenge, I think, it's how we deal with this cross-cultural situation. That it's not only for the language, if it's Spanish or if it's English, if not the different types of societies that we have. Also in the same country, there are foreign people. They have different cultures, and how we deal with these different cultures and these different strategies to deal with the situation. And also this is a challenge. The third challenge, and related of that, is the age of the children. If it's not the same if it's an adolescent, or if it's 9 years old, or if it's 5 years old. We think that it's necessary also assess in this early childhood education, but it's more difficult.
Yes. Aida, thank you so much for this presentation. If you want to know more, there are lots of resources in Spanish, but we will also share, once they are ready, the publications that we're working on precisely on this process of cross-cultural adaptation and the significance of the situational judgment tests for children's rights education.
Mm-hmm.
But stay tuned. And in the meantime, Aida, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.